national champion is clad in big orange.
The pitch. Swing into this. That's the ball game. The national champion is clad in big orange.
Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
Tennessee Volunteers have wrapped up an SEC outright regular season title.
The SEC runs through Rocky Top. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season crown for the 2nd consecutive season.
The 1-0.
In the air, right center field. Bronx on the move, won't get there. Tennessee walks it off.
This is a mismatch. Deep 3. Come on now. Van Fulton gonna probably driving this time. Indeed. Bad New Hampshire. Hooker. Down the middle. Got it on the fly. It's high and again. And he's gonna take it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
How much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top, college football at its absolute best.
This is college athletics at its absolute best, man. Welcome in to another episode of the Vol Fanatics Show. I am Michael with my co-host Skylar. Skylar, man, how are we doing tonight?
Dude, is this not the absolute best you could be doing? Mid-December, we're about to be talking about round 1 of the college football playoff. We still got 2 basketball programs. I hate to talk basketball, but did some pretty exciting things over the weekend. Still undefeated. But, man, this week is all about football, man. We've got the matchup, first round of the college football playoff. It is against Ohio State in Columbus. It's going to be cold. I don't know how you could be doing any better, Michael. I'm feeling juice, man. What's the rundown today, though? You got to tell me.
I mean, look, we've got a absolute loaded show today. And segment 1, we have got a special guest. We got Chris, the Wild Man, from the OHIO podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming matchup this weekend. Segment 2, Skylar and I are going to briefly. Sorry, Nick can't talk tonight, man.
Easy.
Talk. A little bit excited. So we're going to briefly give our thoughts on the game, give score predictions, stuff like that, keys to the game. Segment 3 is going to be a quick one as we're going to give our predictions for the SEC and bowl games for this week, as well as the CFP round 1 games this week. There's 5 of them this week that we're going to be picking from. And segment 4 is the fans' favorite segment. It is Rakin with Jake. So
That's right.
Before we get into all that, Skylar, would you like to give us our presenting show sponsor?
I'm going to, but first I'm going to acknowledge the chat, man. We had folks in here 15 minutes before the show. Adam, we appreciate you on the YouTube. Got a good story. He said he's got Ohio State fans hating him with the O-H-N-O or uh-oh. He's like, and my newest one is felony. He said he had an Ohio State fan replying back saying that your channel is S-T-U-P-I-D. I love it, man. We appreciate you. Justin Williams, he's in here. He's waving. He's got a big game coming up this weekend as well, as he's a Longhorn fan, but he supports us, so we're going to support him right now at least. You know what I'm saying? Big Orange, he's in here. He says, go Owls, baby. I love it, man. Thank you so much for being here. Sean Carpenter, who just shared the show on Facebook, and he's in here in the YouTube. He said, what's up, guys? Go Big Orange. We appreciate you. Big Orange acknowledging the basketball team, saying that we are number 1. You dang skippy we are. But, yeah, our presenting show sponsor, you already know who it is. It's Chris Smith Insurance. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company. So he started his own agency where instead of feeling like a big company is fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal. Trust the Chris Smith Insurance today. Give him a call at 865-272-3387. Again, guys, Chris Smith is that guy that not only is going to find you the best rate, but also the best coverage. And when things go south, when you do have to file that claim, he's going to be there on your doorstep to help you through every step of the way. Chris Smith, man, we appreciate your support here on this show. And Michael, if you want to let us know who our segment 1 sponsor is, so we can go ahead and start talking about this ball game, man.
Yeah, our segment one sponsor, you already know, it is Optimal Asbestos Services, your trusted environmental consulting firm in Knoxville, Tennessee. State licensed and insured. We specialize in asbestos air quality management for commercial buildings and homes. You can contact Jeff Mull at 865-223-3297 or on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com. And now, without further ado, the man that they call the Wild Man, we've got Chris from the OHIO podcast. Chris, man, we appreciate you joining us tonight. And how you doing?
Thank you. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Not really.
No?
I'm still on my Fire Ryan Day kick, man.
Really? So I'd actually, let's just start there. I mean, what's the overall feel of the fan base there in Columbus? With obviously the last time y'all played in y'all's house, y'all kind of got pushed around a little bit by that team up north. And I just wanted to know, like, what's the overall, I mean, are we still holding on to that, or are we trying to move forward and look forward to this playoff, knowing that y'all are in it and that team isn't?
Here's the thing. I think a lot of our younger fans, if you look at that, a lot of the younger fans are the just move it on crowd. They're the ones who have really started watching during the CFP generation. Those of us who lived through the 90s, who lived through the John Cooper years, who lived through 2-10-1 under John Cooper versus that team up north, are not willing to do it again.
Sure.
We have been out there. 1-4 is unacceptable against your rival. And we are on. I was ready to fire him the day it happened. I was ready to fire him a year ago. And everybody's like, well, he's 66-10. He's 65-6 against teams not named Michigan. That's all well and good. But he came out and laid it out himself. First job, beat Michigan. Second job,
Big Ten championship.
Third job, win a national title. He is 0 for 2 so far this year. And if you look at his time in Columbus, he is
1 of 12, maybe
3 for 12.
3 for 12.
No,
3 for 12.
More than that. It's 3. This is his 6 years. It's 3 for 18. So 17.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to me, he's not a big game coach. So that's been my take. Now, yeah, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is I feel like if he hadn't just laid it down like that and said, this is the expectations that I know I've got to follow to be successful here, and he didn't put that pressure on himself, then maybe y'all wouldn't have been, like, the entire fan base wouldn't have been as upset about all of this.
Nah.
I mean, obviously, you're still going to be upset because you expect that as a fan. But the fact that he laid it out and he's still not accomplishing it, that I feel like is the problem. Am I right on that?
You're right, because what we are doing is holding him accountable to his expectations. That's the big thing. Yes, as fans, we expect it. Now, realistically, you aren't going to see a run like we had prior to the last 4 years where you're going to win, for the most part, every game for the last 2 decades. You're not going to see that against a rival. I don't care what program you are. You look at even as great as Alabama was. How many times they go into the Iron Bowl and drop that game to Auburn, even as a top tier team. So you're going to have those against your rivals, but you laid out an expectation. And you have failed miserably in accomplishing what you said your expectations were. So that makes it by far worse.
So I do want to get your thoughts. Y'all's athletic director already came out and said, hey, no matter what happens in this playoff, Ryan Day's our coach. He's going to be coming back next year. What are your thoughts? Obviously, I know you already mentioned you're ready to fire him, during the Michigan game after that. But what are your thoughts, you think, as a fan base as a whole, knowing that, hey, at least maybe that takes away a little bit of the pressure? Because right now, I mean, as a Tennessee fan, going into this game, I kind of feel like all the pressure is on Ohio State. Do you think that the athletic director came out and did that to kind of relieve some of that pressure off of Ryan Day? Or, what are your thoughts on that situation?
Here's my thought. I believe that was his intent. Now, is he going to hold to that? Probably not. Athletic director's words are about as reliable as politicians' words.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So if he goes out and he lays an egg against Tennessee this week, you can bet he's going to be on the unemployment line very soon. But I think 2 things involved with that. One, that statement came out on National Signing Day. You can't let recruits know that you're considering firing the coach.
That's fair.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Secondly, I think it was with the intent of giving him some relief from that stress. However, and this is what people fail to understand, Ryan Day coaches best when he's pissed off. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah.
You look at what he did against Georgia, but this is what I'll also say about Ryan Day. He cannot handle any change to the game plan. If you look a few years ago versus Georgia, Ohio State had that game until
I think y'all should have won that game. Yeah.
Until Harrison goes, and whether it was a target or not, we're not going to rehash that debate.
Sure.
Once Harrison goes down, he couldn't coach.
Yeah.
Oregon this year, you are in Oregon's house. You are going toe-to-toe with the number 1 team in the nation right now. And you lose by 1, but it was after Simmons went down that he couldn't adjust. Say the Penn State game, we got very lucky there, following a second injury, that we were able to, I think, go in. He had the time to prepare before that one, and we had a different result. That and the fact that James Franklin is worse at running.
He's worse in the base. Yeah, he's worse in the big games than.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you look at this. I mean, I got really diving into these numbers, guys. I mean, I'm really diving into the numbers. These two programs are so similar yet so different.
Yep.
I mean, you look at the coaches; their numbers are almost identical for their careers. Heupel 65 and 22, Ryan Day 66 and 10. So yeah, Heupel's got a few more losses, but he's also got more time under his belt as a head coach. You look at their bowl records. One's 2-4, one's 3-3. You look at their top 5 records. One's 3-6. Ryan Day got 2 of those 3 wins this year. And then you've got Heupel at 1-5 versus the top 5. Bowl win. I mean, it's so much. And then you look at the numbers. Ohio State ranked number 1 in defense. Tennessee number 4. Offensively, I see an edge to Tennessee. Obviously, they're ranked number 8. Ohio State's 36th. Now.
Now I will say this, just cutting you off for a minute.
Yeah.
Those numbers for Tennessee are slightly skewed because of just the absolute pounding that Tennessee has given to the non-conference opponents.
100%.
Because in SEC play, are we even averaging like 25 points a game, Skylar?
SEC play difference from non-SEC is quite alarming. I mean, you think of NC State, some of the Akron, UTEP games where we're scoring 70 points, but then you get in SEC, and I don't think we've scored over 35 points in an SEC game, other than maybe Vanderbilt might have been our highest scoring.
Vanderbilt, and I think we scored 33 against Mississippi State. Other than that, we have not reached the 30 mark.
It's not been pretty in the SEC offensively. Nico, there was numbers from Nico, our passing game, obviously not being that great in the SEC either. That was until Nico did throw for 4 touchdowns against Vanderbilt, which was probably his best game of the season. But overall, I mean, I do agree with you. It is a little bit skewed, but now in the same sense, I do feel like Ohio State's had some non-conference games that they could have been able to run it up on it. Yeah.
And they did. Those first 3 games of our season were soft as a baby's bottom, man. Those games, we absolutely ran it up. Now, and you look, I'd say there's a similarity there with Ohio State. Now, you guys only busted 30 twice over the course of the SEC schedule.
Yeah.
And you mentioned them. It's what was it? It was
Vanderbilt, Mississippi State.
Mississippi State.
2 of the not Mississippi State.
You go to Ohio State, and we're not that dissimilar. We've only busted 30 versus now we did get there versus Indiana. And a lot of people question the way that last one came. But they still scored there over 30. They scored over 30. Now they did score over 30 versus Oregon, and that I think was impressive. Because Oregon I consider to be a pretty doggone good defense there as well. But overall, I look at these teams and there's just so many similarities. That I think it's going to be a good game. I'm refraining giving a prediction at any point in this game. I'll just tell you that.
No, I got you. No, fair enough.
I'm saving that big release for my game, my show, and part of that is I'm still undecided on who's going to win this game.
Hey,
I think it's a true pick 'em. I think it's a true pick 'em. I really do. Here's where I'm battling as a Tennessee fan. I know we start slow.
So does Ohio State.
I know we start slow. I know our defense is one of the best in the nation. I can stand by that. And that's not really me being biased. That's just, I know we have one of the best defenses. I know we have, I would say, arguably the best running back in the nation, aside from Ashton Genty. But I would say that our running backs face a little bit more physical defenses than Ashton has and still put up 1,600 rushing yards in the season. And I stand by all that. I think we do have some dudes on the outside. It's just, can Nico get them the ball? My thing is, I look at Ohio State and I look at Tennessee, and man, I think you could swap uniforms and like they would almost be the same team. Like it is crazy how similar these teams are going into this matchup, in my opinion, because y'all have dogs at running back. Y'all have really good wide receivers. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. You've got great defensive back group. You got Caleb Downs from Alabama who transferred there. It is crazy how similar that these teams are. I mean, and if I'm not mistaken, I would say maybe y'all are a little bit down on the pass rushing this year. Usually y'all have a dog on the defensive edge, and maybe y'all do. I just haven't paid that much attention to it. But usually, I mean, they're always in the talks nationally, and I haven't really heard that much from y'all's rushing game or defensive pass rushing this year, at least. I mean, I would say that's the only big difference between these two teams.
A lot of that, I think, goes back to bad scheming, especially earlier in the year. We had a major rift between our defensive coordinator and defensive line coach. And it really hurt the pass rush. Now, we haven't had a great pass rush all year. We've got two guys that by all rights should be All-American on the defensive end. We have two 5-star guys out there in Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimaluau who should be absolute beasts, and they're just not. Part of it's scheming. Part of it is they're just underperforming. So, I worry about that because I think if Nico gets time, he can be a dangerous weapon.
I agree.
But this I will say, I really love the fact that I think that your strength in running the ball and our strength in defending the run is going to make for a great game. Because look at Ohio State, they are number 2 overall.
And stopping the run.
And stopping the run.
I love the matchups that this game presents. I mean, that matchup alone, you're going to have Gerard McCoy on Jeremiah Smith. You're going to have Caleb Downs guarding whoever he's going to be guarding. The matchups in this game, I think you're going to be very, very – I mean, you're going to be watching NFL talent on both sides of the ball going up against each other. My question to you is, do we see that Will Howard bounce back game?
Now, see, I think that's the biggest X factor. There's 2 X factors in this game for Ohio State. Actually 3, and the third one may be the most important. First one's Will Howard.
Sure.
Can we see the Will Howard that we saw through, 11 of our 12 or 10 of our 11 games this year? Can we see that Will Howard? Are we going to see the David Igbinosun who can go out there and play defense without committing a pass interference multiple times in the game? I love Igbinosun. Iggy's brought a intensity and a physicality to the defensive backs that's only been enhanced since Caleb Downs arrived. And I can't deny. I don't think there's any denying it. It's an SEC mentality because those 2 guys came from the SEC. Yeah. So I can't deny that's where that physicality has come from on the defensive backs. But can we see that? And then the other thing is, we've got this game at home, which in most cases, when you're facing a team, even at Tennessee, you look at Josh Heupel, he's 7-8 on the road since becoming a coach at Tennessee.
Definitely shaky on the road.
Which is 467. But I'll tell you, I don't know how much of a home field advantage it's going to be, guys, because we have a lot of Ohio State fans selling tickets to a lot of folks with Tennessee zip codes right now.
That may or may not have been because we like to cheat the system and put in the wrong fan code to make ourselves look like we're Ohio State fans. We do some shady stuff, but we try to get in the game any way possible.
As a fan, you do what you got to do.
Exactly.
Right? I ain't holding that against you. The other thing is, even the resale tickets.
Yeah.
A lot of Tennessee fans are getting resale tickets off the market.
Now, here's what I'll say about that point.
AD has come out and begged fans to stop selling tickets to people in Tennessee.
Yeah. But to your point in that, the resale tickets are not that expensive. I mean, I think you could get in for like $200.
Actually, I just looked, they're about $389 a piece right now.
They are about $389 a piece right now. I was looking up on StubHub, Ticketmaster, whatnot, and I'm like, man, you could really I'm sure after they added their fees and whatnot, it'd probably be closer to $300. But I mean, there was ticket sales for less than $300, which shook me a little bit. I thought that'd be a hard ticket to get. So to your point, it should be.
But you look at the fans in Columbus, and this goes back to what we talked about at the top. People are disgruntled with Ryan Day.
That's right. Got a couple questions because They're really good questions. I want to get to them.
Yeah.
Adam Lambert, he said, who's going to be officiating the game? Is that something that the playoff committee dictates or the NCAA? Like, it's not going to be a Big Ten or an SEC crew, correct?
No, it'll be. I would assume it's going to be ACC or Big 12.
That's what I'm assuming. They're having like a
God
rotation.
help us if it's Big 12 because their officiating is god awful.
God help us if
it's. That's the truth. Yeah.
As a Tennessee fan, God help us if there's referees on the field. Period. Like it's going to be a bad one for us, regardless.
That's fair, yeah.
Well, you and us both, because it seems like we're always on the receiving ends of the bad calls.
So that's going to be the fourth point of the game, then I think. So Jade Woodard on Facebook.
Who's going to get the calls? So.
Yeah, Jade Woodard on Facebook says, "Do we expect a surprise player to have a breakout game for either team? Do you expect somebody, obviously with the portal, you've got some names kind of going into it. Is that going to open the door for somebody else in this bowl game, per se, first playoff game to kind of have a breakout?"
The only thing that really the portal, the only big name we lost to the portal is our backup quarterback, Devin Brown.
Okay.
So if Will Howard goes down, that means the kid from Alabama, Julian Sane, is going to be the one to step in.
Right on.
Could he have a breakout game? I don't know. It's hard to see. We haven't had much of a sample size.
Sure.
In the spring game, he looked awful good. But, I think he's a little slight to be out there competing with big-time guys right now. I don't think he's got the physical body to be out there against big-time players at this point. So that worries me a little bit. The other guy, I'm going to tell you, wouldn't be a huge surprise. But if you guys are focusing on Igbuka and Jeremiah Smith a lot, watch for the potential of Carnell Tate to have a really big game.
I wanted that kid here at Tennessee so bad.
And another sneaky one. Another sneaky one is the tight end G. Scott Jr. if they can get him involved, because G. Scott was a high-ranked wide receiver coming out of college. If they can find a way to get him one-on-one with a linebacker, whether it's something coming across the middle or going downfield doing a seam route. If they can get him one-on-one with a linebacker, that could be a serious mismatch.
Yeah, and that's one thing I always worry about as Tennessee fans going up against a team that's got a good tight end is we tend to let the tight end
I didn't say he was a good tight end.
Well, you said he was highly ranked, so I mean,
he was highly ranked as a wide receiver. He's a great pass catcher.
Gotcha.
One thing I'll tell you guys, our tight ends are not great blockers.
But it's the pass catching ability that worries me as Tennessee fans going up against a team with a tight end that can catch the ball, because we tend to focus so much on the wide receivers, especially on the outside. We leave the middle of the field open a lot of times. Tight end can just slip in there and pick up big yards. So that is something that worries me about having a tight end that is a good pass catcher. But I was going to bring up the name Emeka Igbuka. I love that kid. And he's very experienced. I feel like that there is a chance that Tennessee does focus so much on Jeremiah Smith that, it leaves Igbuka open at times on the other side of the field. But, at the same time, we've got two really good corners. And, Jamal McCoy, he, without a doubt, in my opinion, should have been on an All-American team or the All-SEC first team and got snubbed off of it. But, Ricky Gibbs on the other side is probably going to be matched up against Igbuka, and I'm really intrigued for that matchup. I think that'll be a fantastic matchup to watch all game.
Yeah, I really do like your corners. I mean, you guys have a very good – you guys, ranked 17th in the nation against the pass on defense. That's pretty good.
Well, it's crazy considering that none of those guys played last. Like, we completely overhauled the secondary group. We've got those two corners. We've got a star, true freshman in Boo Carter, who's going to be. I'm really intrigued to see how you guys motion to try to get those matchups on Boo Carter. Boo Carter's really aggressive. He's very good at rushing off the corner. I'm really intrigued to see those matchups. But yeah, to your point, our secondary has been pretty solid this year, and it's been a really good surprise for us.
Yeah. I do. I think you guys have a great secondary. But here's my thing. I think that where Ohio State can exploit Tennessee is if you can get your running backs, which we have two running backs that we do not use enough in the passing game.
Henderson.
Our running backs are both very good receivers. And in the open field, they're both very tough to tackle for two different reasons. Henderson is just so elusive, and Judkins will just run right through you.
Yeah.
We've been watching Judkins for 2 years now since he was at Ole Miss. And when you guys picked up Judkins out of the portal last year, I said Ohio State got them an absolute dog.
I mean, Ohio State they went crazy this year in the offseason, building the team, obviously getting Chip Kelly from UCLA as a coordinator.
I'm not sold on that move either.
Well, I mean, I get that, but overall, being able to pull a head coach back down to a coordinator, I mean, that's big boss moves. And so you kind of expect it. I'm sure that kind of helped aid the disappointment in the Michigan outcome and whatnot, because you've seen all these offseason moves that we did. You're hearing about all the talent in the room, and then it's just not being able to capitalize on that. And to your point, I mean, for Ohio State fans, again, I've got a father who literally grew up in Columbus. He's a massive Ohio State fan. That's the game that matters. I mean, he kind of told it to me when I was growing up. He said, dude, I would almost rather be 3-7, 3-6 going in that game and then win it than to be 10-1 and lose it. And when he told me that, I'm like, what does that even mean? But like, seriously, in that matchup, that is the Super Bowl. Like, obviously you want a natty, you want to win the national championship, but that game, in the older days, you couldn't win the national championship if you didn't get past that team, right? At the end of the season. Right. So obviously this day and age is a little bit different. You can still technically win the national championship without beating that team, but you can't say that. You can't say that to a fan. At the end of the day, that game still means as much as it always has. And so I do think that I like the fact that matchup in itself has gotten a lot more juice lately. I do think it is because Michigan's kind of helped themselves in that matchup, obviously getting a little bit better, but this matchup reminds me so much of, especially now in this day and age, that matchup alone's kind of reminded me of the Tennessee-Florida matchup where, man, Ohio State's had the better team several of these years and just not been able to capitalize. And Tennessee's had to come over that hump as well. And we still can't win in the swamp. Now, at least somewhat here lately, we've been able to protect home turf, but I don't know, man. I think that matchup, I'm hoping that the team at least has been able to put that result away. Obviously, a lot of the seniors took it to heart. If I'm not mistaken, there's seniors on that team that never beat the team, which that's hard to comprehend. That is very hard to comprehend, to the fact that they spent their 4 years in Columbus and never beat that team up north. And the flag planting, everything that happened after that. Who knows? Maybe that lights a fire under that team, and I'm a little nervous about that. I'm as a Tennessee fan going up to Columbus. We've been hearing the media say that maybe that's a bad thing for Ohio State fans having another home game, because who knows if y'all go 3-and-out to start the game and then we go down and score, do we hear boo birds? And I don't want to think that way. I want to think quite the opposite, because I know me and my BVS. I think Ohio State's going to come out punching with everything they have. And I think Ryan Day, you mentioned it. He coaches a lot better when he's pissed off. And if he's not pissed off right now as a coach, then that dude needs to go. I mean, if he's not at an all-time, I'm about to run through a brick wall type mentality, then that shows me who he is as a coach. Because watching him watch his own players try to defend the turf, and he just kind of like, this is the clip that I seen. It's one of the seniors really, really was upset about the flag planting, and you just seen Ryan Day just kind of sit there. Yeah, and you just seen Ryan Day just kind of sit there, and not really say a word.
Did you see what he actually said during that clip?
I didn't.
And said, "What happened?"
Wow.
He had no idea, because he had ran off the field before it all happened.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So I'm intrigued. Lisa came in here. She said, "Does it look like it's going to be raining or snowing in Columbus?" I don't think it's going to be doing either. I think right now it's just going to be really cold.
It's supposed to be chilly.
Yeah.
For you, it's cold. For us, it's chilly.
Sure. Well, I mean, people like to think that we're on the Florida coast or something.
You guys aren't that different from us. What, maybe a 5 to 10 degree swing?
Not even. I think the low for both of us, I think y'all's low is 25 degrees that day. Our low is 27. So, I mean, potato. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Now, I hope it's not going to be snowing, because I feel like that's a way for players to get hurt. You're asking college athletes to play their absolute, in the pro game when it's snow on the ground, I feel like they have a better way of playing a little bit more reserved, but still trying to play hard. I feel like a college player going out there, they're only going to know how to play 110%. And it's going to make it for bad football, or somebody's going to get hurt if there's snow on the ground. I don't want that. I really don't. I think it'll be cool for TV. Don't get me wrong. But I want to see these two teams go at it. Let it be cold. I don't mind that. But I do want to see these kids in a safe environment being able to go play ball at the hardest they can. So.
Yeah, with our broken up offensive line, it would probably be very good for you guys.
Tell us about that offensive line. I've been hearing that they're kind of beat up and banged up.
Well, we lost 2 potential All-Americans off that offensive line to injury this year, in Seth McLaughlin and Josh Simmons.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, you lose that kind of performance off the line. We've had a patchwork line since. We've had to move our All-American guard from guard to tackle. We've had to take our backup center, move him to guard. Well, then we had to move him back to center and throw in a freshman or a sophomore at guard. And it's just been, a constant rotation of that line. And I mean, if you've ever played offensive line, you have to have continuity along that line.
Sure.
And I'm not real sure what they're going to do. For me, I think the best move is to bring in our third string center, let him try taking those snaps at center, and kick the Hensman kid back out to guard, because he was doing a great job at guard. He was one of the big reasons we came back and won that Penn State game.
Yeah.
That guy is a beast. He's a road grader. You put him out there at guard, he is going to open a hole.
Yeah, we understand how important it is for the offensive line to be on the same page, because if you ever see Cooper Mays for us not be in the game, you're going to see a crap show from our offensive line. That kid, something about the way he plays just makes everybody around him better, and he keeps everybody on the same page. Communication, as you know, is key. The new day and age, defense is like the shift at the last second right before the play is snapped. Being able to stay composed, being able to talk to the guys, re-coordinate, okay, who's got who, that's our Cooper Mays. That's our center. And so it is very important. And we've seen a lot of games with him not playing that position, and just how much different the offensive line looks. So I agree with you. The offensive line is very important. Michael, go ahead with your point.
Well, I was just going to say, you could say this about every single game, but I think especially this game, the offensive line is key for both teams. I mean, Ohio State has been dealing with injuries on offensive line, trying to get a good continuity on the line. Tennessee, your middle three guys, you got Cooper Mays the center, Javonte Spraggins, and then Andre Carrick. They have all been pretty steady throughout the entire season. But the tackles have been the question. You got John Campbell Jr. on one side, and then you've got Lance Hurd, who I think has finally started to turn a corner and get comfortable. But you never know when we're going to see the Lance Hurd that we saw at the beginning of the season show up. So I think, without a doubt, the key to this game for both teams is offensive line play.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, because, I think we have a smart, experienced, but sometimes overconfident quarterback who has ability to lead this team to a national title. I do believe that he has that ability in Will Howard. But I will tell you 2 things about Will Howard. One, if he can't keep his uniform clean, he's not going to be, performing at a high level.
Yep. 2,
he's going to throw at least one bad interception every game. He does it every game. He tries to do too much, squeeze it in. It kind of reminds you of Brett Favre without the titles. It really does. He thinks he's Superman and can squeeze it in wherever, tight little windows, and he just has to learn to play within himself.
Yeah,
I understand you want that confidence in your quarterback, but you still have to play within yourself.
Yeah,
right on. All right, got a couple more good questions here from the chat box, if you don't mind. So Adam Lambert, one of our fans, he said, "Is the PA for Ohio State completely controlled by the CFP? So like the home field advantage is somewhat taken away." Now, I don't know about taken away. I mean, obviously at the end of the day, you're still going to have quite a few more fans. It's still your home field. But how does that work? Because, I mean, I've been told that Tennessee's going to be able to have their intro video, their hype video when they run out. I mean, it's supposed to kind of be like the festivity side of it's supposed to be like a bowl game. Right, yeah. Exactly. But how does that, do you think, change in the way the effect the game's played? Like the third down music and whatnot.
Well, I mean, it's going to have an impact on our fan base, especially if we're actually, in a position where we're rocking. Because when things are going right, and I'm going to come on here and I'm going to surprise a lot of people, we are the most spoiled fan base in all of sports. Make no mistake about it. And we have a lot of people who, when we're going well, man, it's a party down there.
Sure.
But when things are going bad, right before the boo birds come out, it gets quiet as a church. So that music that can sometimes, be the catalyst to get some of that energy back up. We have a great student section, but honestly, I think we got a few, too many fans in there. They're just those quiet, sit and watch the game type fans.
I
They've
know
had
several of
same
those.
tickets
That's right.
Had those same tickets for the last 30 years.
Yep.
And maybe it's time to, pass it on for the sake of re-energizing the crowd.
That's right. Miss Lisa is a known Ohio State fan. She said that she mentioned wanting to fire the O-line coach for you guys because he's not been doing such a good job this year. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, he should have been gone a year ago.
So you agree with
problem. Yes. Here's the problem with that. Just like Chip Kelly, he's one of Ryan Day's buddies. And Ryan Day doesn't have the stones to cut ties with his friends. He's missed out on a lot of recruits. The development hasn't shown, as you can see, like I've been talking about our busted down offensive line. We aren't getting the development and advancement out of the younger players that we should be getting. I mean, they shouldn't be coming in completely unprepared to play.
Sure.
So this is an offensive line coach that, he's not performing at the level we need. He needs to go.
Right on.
But I don't think it'll happen while Ryan Day's there.
Yeah. So, we try to do this with each person that we have on to do a preview. All right. Mm-hmm. What is going to be the headline after this game? And then what are the keys to Ohio State getting the win in the game? Like what is the one thing that you say Ohio State wins this game if this happens?
Ohio State wins this game if
Dylan Sampson fumbles on the first drive. Sorry, go ahead. You go ahead.
Honestly, for me, it's if they can convert on third downs.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one. The big thing, because this is a team that our defense gets out there and we don't rotate enough on the defense, especially on the line. In the fourth quarter, our guys get gassed. You look back at that loss to Michigan, that was a big problem. Our defense had played exceptional that entire game. They were gassed in the fourth quarter because our first team defensive line took all but 4 of the snaps in that game.
Wow.
And it's crazy to me. And I guess it's just because we're spoiled as Tennessee fans. When you look out there and every 2 to 3 plays, we've got a whole new group of defensive linemen coming in. Like we rotate 12 to 15 guys on the defensive line throughout the entire game. You might look out there and James Pierce Jr., who is arguably one of the best pass rushers in all of college football, is maybe getting 20 snaps a game.
Yeah, and that's the way we should have it, because we have tremendous talent 3 deep along our defensive line. But they're not getting the opportunity to play. How some of these guys haven't jumped in the portal, I don't know. Because if I was a player, I would probably do it. Now, I hate the portal. Don't even get me started on that. But, it's just amazing to me how they don't rotate. It would be so beneficial, not just for those second, third string guys who are getting important snaps at game time, but also for that first team to get rested.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I look at this and I say Ohio State wins the game if they give Will Howard time to find a man downfield. If the offensive line for Ohio State can slow down Tennessee's rush just enough to allow him to get the ball out to his playmakers, I think Ohio State wins this game.
Here's the thing with that. You're not wrong, but the best thing to do is actually get it to those guys within 15 yards and let the playmakers make plays. You don't have to get it downfield. Get it within those 15 yards and let your playmakers do the rest.
I was just about to say, we're probably going to be running a lot of man because that's typically how we like to play. And so if Will Howard can kind of take the snap, 1-2, get the ball out, and then you just got to hope that we tackle. Now, this season we've been tackling pretty well, but we've not been facing wide receivers quite as good and as deep as Ohio State's receiver room. So I do think
this is without a doubt the best wide receiver group that Tennessee's gone against this year.
Yeah, I think Ohio State's going to come in with a game plan to get the ball out of his hand quickly, and we're just going to have to be prepared for that. I hope we will be. I think we will be. I do see this being, everybody's predicting this game to be the absolute most low-scoring defensive battle possible. And for that reason, I mean, I know everything points that direction. I mean, you look at the slow starts for Tennessee, you look at the great defense for both teams. Obviously, we had that nasty taste in our mouth from the last time we seen Ohio State on the field. But I think this is quite conversely the opposite. I think we see a team score 31-34. Conversely, a team scoring 27, 28 points. I'm not saying this is a shootout by any means, but I do think that you see some touchdowns being scored in this game just because I can't see Ohio State having back-to-back games with just lackluster offensive performances. Now, maybe I'm just wrong, and if so, I'm totally okay with it because that means our boys probably pulled out a win. However, I do see this being more of a maybe like a back-and-forth game. I mean, maybe 7 to 10-point quarters, who knows? But I do think every possession is absolutely going to count. I think it's going to matter, and I would love – if we're playing the field position game, I love Tennessee in that instance. I mean, our punting game, our special teams, for the most part, has been amazing. I've never seen a punter pin it inside the 10-yard line as much as our punter has. So I would love for it to be a back-and-forth battle like that. But overall, man, I am very intrigued by this. This is no doubt in my mind the best matchup you could have had in the first round. And maybe that's why they tied it up like that. But it's at night. It's on the road. I think that helps you guys a lot. It doesn't matter how good or bad your team is. I just think having our boys go on the road at night is going to be a tough one. But who knows? Maybe this playoff brings out the best in both teams. I'm really looking forward to it.
A fun thing about what you were saying there about the scoring, though. Now realize Ohio State's only surrendered more than 15 points twice this season.
That's totally fine. I mean, Tennessee's only surrendered more than 20 twice as well. So
once to Oregon.
Yep.
Who they're pretty good. The other time to a Nebraska team that they gave up 17 to. Everything else has been 15 or less. So I sure. I do think that it could be low scoring, but I think you could be right too. I think there's potential for it with these explosive offenses to break through with a few big plays.
Tennessee has given up 31 to Georgia, and they gave up 23 to Vanderbilt, in which we spotted them a opening kickoff return. And I think that was the only 2 times a team has gotten over 20 points on us. So, yeah.
Now, regardless of if it's high scoring, low scoring, I don't see a scenario where this game is a blowout in either direction.
No.
I think that this game is absolutely within 10 points, and I'm going to even say within a touchdown either direction.
I would go lower than that. I think it's going to be a field goal game. And I'll tell you why. Ohio State's 2 losses this year have come by a total of 4 points.
Yeah.
So we have a Vol fan in here, and I don't know. I just want to get your thoughts to see how you think about this. But sure. Fred Emmett showed up, and he says, we appreciate you, Fred. By the way, thank you so much. A long-time listener, one of my old baseball coaches. He said, the Vols have the better quarterback in this game, better defensive line, special teams, and coach. Do you agree with all that? I don't know about the quarterback. I think Nico has a better ceiling, but I don't know if right now, during the course of the season, that Nico's been playing better than Will Howard. I don't know, but I just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
If Will plays to his potential and plays within himself and plays the smart, experienced game, I think he may have a slight edge. If we get the Will Howard that came out versus Michigan, came out in the beginning versus Penn State, then I think that Nico definitely has a chance to take advantage. Defensive line, I think you've got a more productive. I don't think you got a more talented, but I think you got a more productive defensive line. Sure. And a lot of that goes back to what Michael was saying about the rotation. They typically play fresher.
Yeah.
And then special teams, Ohio State special teams looked awful good up until the Michigan game, through about a 4-game stretch where we'd had punt return for a touchdown. We had 3 block punts. So the special teams, I'm not 100% ready to give up on yet.
Sure.
Coaching wise, I look at these 2 coaches and I can't give one of them the edge over the other right now.
Exactly. They're hanging.
I just can't. Because their numbers are so similar. I think that and you look, these teams on paper are just so close to the same. Strength of schedule may be one thing that might be a little more telling. I mean, Tennessee only did really play 2 ranked teams this year.
Technically, by the end of the season, you can look at it that way. Yeah, because we beat the brakes off of NC State. Yep. Yep. NC State, Oklahoma was ranked when we played them, but obviously you've seen how they ended up. We played NC State while they were ranked, but obviously you've seen how bad they ended up. So yeah, definitely the opponents that Tennessee played didn't help us out at all. So
Ohio State did have 3 top 5 matchups this year. Won 2 of them. So that's something that, Ryan Day can try to hang his hat on, but the fact is he still screwed the pooch when it came to the big game against Michigan.
the game.
So which game you get, or which coach you get out of Ryan Day is the question. Are you going to get the Ryan Day who went out there and went toe-to-toe with Oregon? Or are you going to get Ryan Day who let the crowd, let the media, let the fans get into his head and convince him he wasn't tough enough? So he tries to run the ball 17 times straight up the middle. Again, into 2 All-American defensive tackles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you brought that up because we had a couple listeners last week that we didn't really argue with them, but I had a differing opinion than they did. So I know that the Ohio State Michigan game, that is different than any other rivalry out there. Like that is it's huge. But don't you, from a game plan standpoint, have to look at it as it's any other game? Because it seems to me from the game plan standpoint that Ryan Day, I probably will, but I'm just asking a question anyway. It seems to me that Ryan Day tries to play this "I'm tougher than you are" type game instead of doing what has got you there the entire season. Am I wrong in that?
No, you're absolutely right. Ryan Day went out and tried to play Michigan football against Michigan when the fact is he needs to embrace the fact he wants to say how tough his team is. His team is soft. They are soft, and that's okay. You built a finesse team. Go with that. Do
Play
what
with
you're good at.
Yeah.
Play to your strengths. You have a soft team. You have a team that was built for dome. Eric, my co-host on the OHIO podcast, one of his favorite things to say is, we built a team that was meant to compete for national titles. Michigan built a team that was intended to win the Big Ten and beat Ohio State. They built their team specifically to beat Ohio State. Ohio State built their team to go out and try to compete with Alabama, with Georgia, with Tennessee, with those SEC schools who are typically at the top.
Right on.
So you agree with me from that standpoint then that
I
he should have
do.
absolutely kept that same game plan instead of trying to play that toughness type game?
Yes. But you don't coach it like any other game because it's not any other game.
Right.
You look at
yes.
Jim Tressel. You look at Urban Meyer, who for 2 decades basically dominated that team up north. They coached for that game 365 days a year. They ate, slept, breathed that game.
Spring training, but yet it was game week for Michigan during those days. I mean, it was
because that game, and again, that goes back to the change in times, but that game was the key to your season. You didn't win that. You don't play for the Big Ten. You don't play for a national title.
That's right.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you there. And I guess that's where I didn't make my point clear last week is, obviously you game plan for Michigan all year long, but whatever game plan that you have used all year long, you can't just completely change that for one game. Yeah, that was my point behind this. I just wanted to see if you were on the same page with that right there. So,
all right, wow, man, I want to respect your time, brother. We got to move on to the next segment, but I just want to leave you. I kind of want to open up the floor for you guys. You end it however you want, whether it's a matchup you want to see, what's something that you're most looking forward to this weekend, but I'll let you kind of finish up this segment for you. Let the folks know where to find you as well once you're done.
So for me, I just want to see Ohio State go out and play a clean game. And by a clean game, I'm not talking about not making dirty plays. What I mean is a clean game where you go out, you don't make penalties, you don't make the silly mistakes, because Ohio State's roster, if they don't go out there and shoot themselves in the foot, can contend with any team in the country.
All right, I asked you to give me the keys for Ohio State. I already know what I need from my team. I don't know why you're giving me because that's exactly what I need from Tennessee too. But I mean, for Ohio State here, what do you need to see?
Same thing.
Same thing. 4 quarters of football, right? Like we just need all 4 quarters.
I need the 4 quarters of football. I need them to go out and convert on 3rd down, so our defensive line isn't hanging with their tongues out.
That's right.
Halfway through the 3rd quarter, and all of a sudden, this great running back from Tennessee goes and knocks off 2 big, huge runs on him for touchdowns. Because that's what's going to happen if this team is gassed. Now I do have a big question for you guys.
All right. Shoot.
Because I gotta take a shot at you before I leave.
Oh, come on now. We've been so nice and friendly this entire show.
This one. And it's not even about football. Man, couldn't y'all come up with a better than a poor man's country roads for your fight song?
Oh, come on now, Chris.
I knew he was
Come
on
on now.
I knew exactly where this was going the moment he said it.
Now, hey, Skylar, while Chris is on here with us, I'm going to give them a plug on their show. So, for those of you that don't know, the OHIO podcast, they have a call-in show.
OHO, no?
They
have
that's
what y'all gonna be saying.
Yeah. No, they have a call-in show on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
And this coming Thursday night, they're going to be coming out with a rendition of Rocky Top. And I've already told them that I'll be in the chat. I'd like to hear what they try to do with this rendition.
Yeah. Funny story. Went to my son's. I missed our last call-in show. Went to my son's concert at school. First song they played was Rocky Top.
That's all you need to know.
I went up to the band director. I missed my show for this.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. In fact, let me know who that band director is. I need that Venmo. I'll go ahead and tip that dude or girl.
His father played in the Tennessee marching band the year they did Rocky Top for the first time.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's awesome. But
Chris,
awesome. I will say this though. You better hope that Ohio State plays well, because since Tennessee's gonna have their band there, if Tennessee's playing well, you will be hearing that song all night long. So
what I want to know is if,
like the song.
No, fair enough. Everybody, I mean, a lot of people do kind of, even after the game, they're like, man, I'm not gonna lie, Rocky Top is kind of a bop. But I want to know, since we're gonna have like 40% fans there from what I've been hearing, I mean, did we load up the fireworks stands? Like, are we gonna have fireworks when we score touchdowns? Is it gonna be like that neutral, or is it still no fireworks for us?
That I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the CFP is running the thing.
Really?
So I really believe
they shouldn't, man. They need to keep it. They need to keep it a home game, man. I hope they don't freaking 65 everything. Yeah.
When you you're trying to make a neutral field out of a home field, what was the purpose in having this to begin with?
Exactly. Well, Wild Man, Chris, brother, we appreciate you spending your Sunday night with us, and it's been really fun. And thank you so much for the rundown, man.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and tell the folks where they can find you.
Okay, you can catch us. We have the OHIOpodcast.com. You can also find us on our channel on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on all the major platforms. Have a Facebook page, the OHIO Podcast as well. And we do live shows Sunday nights, Monday nights, Thursday nights, and live game watch parties on Saturday where we watch the game so you don't have to listen to the crappy announcers on TV.
That's right.
Hey,
so listen for us. Listen for us if you're down there in Tennessee. You can watch the game, turn down them announcers, tune us in, and we'll let you know how it's really going.
Yeah,
that's right.
There we go. And guys, tonight, be sure to tune in to the OHIO podcast after we get off, as I've been invited by Eric and by Chris to come on the show live with them tonight. Skylar is going to be doing a game preview with Eric, good friend of the pod, this week. So watch out for that video as well. Do me a favor, and even if you don't regularly watch them, go over and give the OHIO podcast a like, give them a subscribe. It'll help them out just as much as it helps us out. So
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, Chris, appreciate you coming on with us tonight, man.
All right, you take it easy, guys.
All right, we'll see.
Rocky Top.
What?
What? What? Hello. Get him off the screen. Get him off the screen. No, I'm joking. No, man, a really good segment there with Chris, the Wild Man from the OHIO podcast. Thank you guys for y'all's comments. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get to all of them. Yeah, that's a good problem to have, but wanted to try to stay on pace. That segment went a little bit long, but that's okay.
Michael, got 2 short segments coming up. So,
I wanted to kind of do a preview with us for the game as well. Do we want to bring Jake on for that, or how do we want to do that?
We can do that, and I tell you what, why don't we just bring Jake on?
You know what? No, I think we shouldn't because he's over there nodding his head like, yeah, you should. I'm like, okay, well, now I don't want to. Thank you for, no, I'm joking. Nobody could see that. That was bad for the show, but I can see him in like the waiting area over here, and I just see his big head, just, yes, bring me on, bring me. No, I'm joking. I think we should. But before we do that, I guess I need to give you guys the segment 2, and we'll go ahead and backpack that with our Rakin with Jake segment sponsor as well. Is that okay?
Yep, sounds like a plan, man.
All right, well then I'll tell you what. Segment 2 is sponsored by P&L Business Services. We know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at P&L Business Services, we go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have your time back and the peace of mind to do what you love most, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper to reach out to. P&L Business Services located right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. It's as simple as going to pnlbusinessservices.com to help out with your business. I do want a quick shout out Miss Lisa Sims, Ohio State supporter, but she has just supported the show by subscribing to the channel. We appreciate you so much. You help us more ways than you know, and it was completely free, and you still did it anyways. And I promise we won't bug you with a bunch of emails afterwards. So thank you so much. At this time, Rakin with Jake, and we got some audio issues, brother.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
yes, we do.
yeah.
Get it fixed. Get it fixed. That was terrible. My ears hurt, and now I know my viewers' ears hurt. That is terrible. What are we doing? It's almost like we've never done this before. Gee, make sure it's plugged in all the way, Jake. Make sure it's plugged all the way, Jake. No, I'm joking. He'll get it figured out. It's like Jake. I mean, if y'all have watched this show enough, it takes like 2 or 3 tries. But then once he's on, it's crystal clear. But for some reason, it's like he's never done it ever, every time. Are you ready? Can you give me a head nod if you think you're ready this time? You don't know? You hope so? Oh, Lord. Nope, you're still not ready. What are we doing? Are you muted? What? 1 second. Okay.
At least this time there's not a big,
AI Jake. I need to get to these comments. We got Jackie Hale over here. LOL. I just got here to eavesdrop. I guarantee Chris was hating on Ryan Day. Jackie, how do you know Chris so well? It's like you've listened to him for quite some time. Now, honestly, for a Ohio State fan that I could feel his pain, I think he handled it very well, in my opinion. But we appreciate you, Jackie, for tuning in. Let's see. Justin says, bring on Jake. AI Jake. He's not professional today, says Justin. It's hard. It's hard. Jade says, she's riding on the car on the way to the house. She said, that was rough coming through our cars. We apologize a million. I think we just actually dropped 5 subscribers thanks to Jake. I appreciate you, Jake. We're going to bring him back on here. We're going to try this again, guys. Jake, are you there? No, you're still muted, brother. Man, this is embarrassing. Jake, what are we doing? Jake, I'm about to just start talking about the game without you, brother.
Yeah, Jake, you might need to try to like back out and then come back in. Sometimes that helps too. So, Skylar, while we're waiting on Jake,
again,
what do you think Tennessee has to do in this game to get a win?
I think Tennessee's got to. I want them to see them not change a thing other than the fact that they need to score on that first possession, because literally in every game that we haven't, it's been our fault. It's not like we gotten stopped by a team or anything like that. I'd like to see us coming out strong in the first possession. And I'd like for our defense to kind of continue playing some good ball. But I think most importantly, man, is don't have that lull in your offense. It happens all the time. Even if we start out quick and fast, we have like that second quarter lull where it's just like we can't do anything right. And then that big, nice 2-touchdown lead that we just had, we just kind of gave up that just as quickly. In Vanderbilt, it was quite the opposite. We went down 14 points and we were able to crawl back up, but it was like the lull came in the first quarter. Well, I just need us to say, even if we're not scoring 40 points, let's just make sure we don't have that lull in our offense. And I think that's the key to getting the job done, in my opinion. What say you?
So I'm going to say that, Nico's got to get in a rhythm early. I think that this game, the matchups all the way around are very even overall. I think that the X factor in this game for Tennessee is Nico being able to get on pace. If he can get on pace and we have a passing game, it doesn't even have to be a downfield passing game. If you see the Nico like we saw against Georgia, that was just His timing was good. Everything seemed like it was clicking for him. I know the game didn't exactly go in Tennessee's favor, but if we can see that Nico, the confidence that he had in that game to go along with Dylan Sampson, Deshaun Bishop, and Peyton Lewis at running back, they're going to get theirs in this game. I can go ahead and tell you that. But if we can add the passing game to that in this game, I think that is the key to victory.
Adam and Jade helped us out with this question. Adam brings up a very important point. We can't have the heaters going out on us on the sideline this week. All right. I don't know why that was such a big topic against Vanderbilt, but it can't happen against Ohio when it's going to be about 27 at kickoff, according to my iPhone, which we'll see how accurate that is. Jade says same answers every week. It's 4 strong quarters. Kind of what I was getting at, right? We got to play 4 complete quarters of football. Can't have a 3-quarter game. Definitely can't have a 2-quarter game. Like, it's got to be 4 complete quarters. And penalties. Got to keep them at an all-time low. I'm pretty confident in this one because we're not going to have an SEC crew. Hopefully, that'll fix a lot of our penalty issues. But overall, we're still jumping off sides when we don't need to be. Our offensive line is still false starting when the defensive line shifts. I want to make sure that we're very disciplined this week. Now, and we know Josh Heupel's teams have not necessarily been completely disciplined when it comes to penalties, but hopefully we'll get that taken care of. Let's see.
And speaking of getting it taken care of, let's see if Jake has gotten
Let's
his
do it.
stuff taken care of.
No, of course not.
There we go.
It's like the 5th time is the charm, dude. It's crazy, man.
You just got to turn it off, put it in rice, and then turn it back on. So
Put it in rice. Put it in rice. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Jake. It's Jake Arnold. We're raking with Jake. We're not raking with Jake yet. We're going to talk a little bit more about this matchup. We're going to be talking a little bit about Ohio State real quick.
I'm excited.
Man, I'm excited too. But there were some points that I wanted to get to with Chris, but man, I could have talked about that game for 3 hours if I really wanted to. But in this matchup, what are your initial thoughts about it? Obviously, it's game week, but what are your initial thoughts on this matchup?
It's going to be the best matchup out of all the games, I believe, in this first round. It's obviously easy to say that with the seeding, but I think there's a lot that is in a psyche in this game that people can't really account for. Coach Day, I mean, can you imagine his position? I mean, we talked about this last week. The guy is in a playoff spot and is still in his mind, or at least in the back of his mind, thinking, "Man, there's some stress I'm going to get here if I don't get it."
No, the athletic director took that off. He's a coach no matter what.
Regardless,
that's AD talk.
Wish in one hand and poop in the other.
I mean, I'm just saying,
But at the end of the day, I think that the thing that really interests me is the running back play. I definitely think that Ohio State, going back, I listened a little bit on the previous segment. As far as the game plan that Ohio State's done, they did taper away to that Michigan game. They really wanted to establish the physical run, and every team, I believe, truly that has a philosophy knows that it starts in the trenches. So at the end of the day, if I think it's about Judkins and Henderson versus Sampson and Bishop and guys that we're getting in rotation. Are we able to still play ahead of the sticks? It's not about anything other than that mainly. I think one thing you'll start to see in the game that people will be pretty surprised about will be how quickly we're able to shut down the pass. Purely based on our scheme. Schematically, we're actually really, really well off when it comes to shutting down what Ohio State wants to do. Ohio State has a lot of levels in their concepts, so they'll show McCord, cross route, over route, and then either a go or a post. They've ran that, I believe. I've seen it at least 20 times on their plays. It's crazy. You watch it. And going back, somebody made a comment about, I guess, the Chiefs or Patrick Mahomes. I saw Andy Reid start to do this a few weeks prior. So it just seems to be one of those concepts that somebody has found a way to capitalize on. I think that's something they like to do. With quarters football, what it teaches your linebackers is it's just eye candy to the quarterback. I think that we will have interceptions, or at least hopefully. You can't ever bank on having a turnover. You prep for it, but you don't ever bank on it. You
can't bet on it. Yeah.
So I really think it defense is going to play. But, when we get into my picks, I think you'll see, I think this is going to be a shootout. You have two very, very talented teams in two different regards. You have a team that's complete and has so much depth in Ohio State versus a team like Tennessee that can just beat you over the top all day long with their receivers and still run the crap out of it. And so this game to me just seems like anybody's. It's anybody's, man. It is absolutely anybody's.
Not according to the ESPN predictor. I put
giving
Ohio State a 68% chance to win.
Elon disagrees. Elon disagrees.
I'm just saying.
I'm
7.5 point favorite.
Jake, can I show you something? I had a little bit less.
I'm just
time.
saying. In the odds market, it's Ohio State all the way.
All I gotta say is they can.
What
say
was
the
that
odds
tab
market.
pulled up? Boy, you better check your phone next time you show the world what we're looking at
Look
here.
at all these, right? So
Look at that.
Asking,
I don't even know what that was.
Percentage of confidence on my bets, right?
Yeah.
Just the prelude, obviously. I think Tennessee wins this game. I really do.
Okay.
It's a gut thing. I'm trusting.
Is that an orange glasses thing?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
100%.
it is. But it's the orange glasses with educated guess. So Cole Kublik was like, no brainer. It's us. Like, are you kidding me? Like, he was on
That's
live
what makes
television.
me nervous about it.
No. It makes sense. It makes sense because if you think of what the Big Ten is, and that's what he was translating to, is some teams have to kind of divvy their way in. They have to position themselves in a certain way to win. Tennessee is beating Alabama first, then compete for championships. Let's just be honest. Now we're here. We're here.
Yeah.
Well,
and to your point, I would trust Cole Kublik's input more than really anybody else's on those shows because Cole Kublik's a ball player.
He's a hound, man.
He was a lineman. He knows ball, right? He's not just somebody up there talking for clicks like, Connell or whatever his name is that just puts out the most insane thoughts and Big Ten lover, whatever. So I agree with you on that point. But, something was brought up, surprise player that could explode. And now I wanted to get to mine, but obviously time constraints, but we've had several players at the portal, players that I do think would have played in this game. Like I think a Chaz Nimrod was always kind of like our next man up in the wide receiver room. Well, he's in the portal now. Obviously, we've lost Caleb Webb. We've lost several folks in the wide receiver room. But I think that's because in this game plan right here, I know we mentioned not changing anything, but I think Mike Matthews could be that guy that steps up and just absolutely has a baller of a game. Now, I could be completely wrong. I could miss the mark on that. But I'm looking at guys like Brew, who's just not touched the ball enough this year. You got Dante Thornton, who is our big explosive play wide receiver. You got Squirrel White, who's been banged up most of the year. And then right there behind them, obviously you got Chris Basil, who I think is one of our most sure-handed wide receivers. But just, again, not had a lot of touches this year. And then that fifth guy, I think it's Mike Matthews this week. And I would love for him to kind of get some play at the slot. And, you've seen what he can do. Obviously, there's a talent difference with that guy. And I just hope that maybe we see that on the field this week.
You're 100% right.
Yeah. I was like, what say you on that point? So
yeah, when he had that touchdown against I think it was against Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah. And he should have had some before that, but some penalties.
But that was
and
a one-on-one ISO. You got to see the guy in space kind of move. Man, just let that man.
He's different. He's different.
And every single rep he takes on the bench, on the squat, on the power clean, man, he is going to get better and better. I'm hoping that he's, with these freshmen, man, you're seeing it with Selden. Injuries are plagued, and injuries can kind of change the way that you can really, be a professional. At this point, I consider all college athletes in a Power 5, especially in the SEC, as professionals. They're practically getting paid. So, you look at it this way, you see guys and you think to yourself, well, Mike Matthews, man, he's skinny, he's shifty, he obviously has a high football IQ. He kind of reminds me of Travis Hunter with the ball skills. I'm not saying I'm not comparing them, but you start to see some glimpses of a guy who can just play through the play. So I like him in some ways. I don't even think he's my impact player. I think it's Joseph's. I think it's 19 on the defense, man. I think that with the way that Ohio State is having to kind of move guys around personnel-wise.
We'll see how much they watch film, right? Because, anybody out of conference, you don't see them every week. All you think is 27, 27, 27. We're going to see how much film they watch because 19's had his fair share too. Yeah, he has. And then, but we're not even talking about Ohio State's offensive line and all the attrition there. And our defensive tackle is arguably some of the best in the country, right? So I would love to see some of, I'm all about gap assignment. When we're talking about rushing the quarterback, obviously we're not really dealing with a running quarterback this week, right?
Perfect.
But still want to have gap integrity.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I want to make sure that we're rushing the quarterback, but not losing containment, not having a gaping hole in the middle for if we have 5 wide receivers and he just literally does a quarterback draw and gains 15 yards. That to me cannot happen. We can't let that happen.
One thing that Banks has done that is different than what even I'm used to. Banks tends to play less gap assignment, and he's more of like, let's just send missiles through the gaps.
Sure.
And that's, to me, the way that he is kind of playing risk management on there is just sit in a too high shell. I mean, we're not always going to be too high shell, but if you sit too high shell, you got some risk mitigation that can come down. And if I'm just sending pins down, I'm just, hey, Pruitt was very with Pruitt, and I stayed in a film room. I've spent over 100 hours in that film room with the team, listening to the way that he teaches. Pruitt with the 3-4 was conditioned to show that true gap assignment. So you have to two gap in a 3-4, right? So you got to anchor on the nose, and then you got to hope that you can kind of sustain and not get squeezed. I heard it the other day. They're talking about surf techniques and stuff like that. You don't have all of that when you're in a 3-4 because there's not enough men up front to really play any type of games. It's just more so players in space, keep it in front, bend, don't break. As much as people don't want to hear that, but I think Banks has really done a great job. And to me, if I was a defensive-minded guy, I mean, obviously I wouldn't want to hit because I was scared and skinny. But if I was a defensive guy and I was a dog, I would want to play in a defense that allows me to pin my ears back and just go. Because you're only going to learn from failure. You're going to learn from over pursuit. You're going to learn from missing tackles. Henry Toto is a great example of that. That was one of the biggest things on him when he left Tennessee was his ability to miss open field, or his lack of ability to make open field tackles. So I really love it.
And I think that's why we've seen this Tennessee defense, while Tim Banks has been there, be one of the best in the conference and really up towards the top in the country when it comes to stopping the run throughout the whole time. It's just been the secondary has not had the dudes there for him to do that successfully. Now he's got the dudes, and you're seeing just how good that defense is. Is it high risk, high reward? Absolutely. But you've seen a whole lot more reward this year from Tennessee than you have been that risk and getting burned, because you've got the dudes in the back that are able to stop the play and not give up that big touchdown that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, it's a recipe I love. I mean, I always thought I'd like stacking the box until I saw this cover 2, cover 4 look, man. And then I see linebackers that just play games with you. If we could get 2 stud outside linebackers down the road, real dogs. Oh my gosh. I mean, you could have Pick City. You really could. It's just hard. It's hard to judge it as a quarterback. And I think the other thing that you said, Skylar, was on the dual threat. We're not facing a dual threat guy. That is just one less variable you can throw out the window. I'm not worried about this guy running and beating us with our legs.
You don't have to leave a spy or anything like that, right?
No. If anything, that just frees up another rusher. Instead of having a Mike Key, I mean, I can blitz the Mike, or there's just so much.
But you got to do that and keep your gap integrity, because he can become a runner if he's got 50 yards of space. Right,
they're all downfield. Yeah,
he's not scared to run the ball.
Yeah,
he's just not a true dual.
Yeah, but he's not a run first quarterback. I mean, he's not a Jalen Moreau. He's not. I would think Dylan Gabriel would run around quite a bit. I think our game plan is going to have to kind of match that. Anyways, that's just kind of one game at a time. But
so Jake, Skylar and I have given our keys. I'm going to ask you now. Tennessee wins this game if
Nico throws for more than 250 yards.
I like it. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
There's no other question.
Because he's only done that like twice this year.
Yeah. Now, and I didn't put a number on it, but that's pretty much what I said. I said that Nico has got to get in a rhythm, and we've got to have that passing attack to go along with Dylan Sampson and Peyton Lewis and Deshaun Bishop.
They're going to get theirs. No question.
That's exactly what I said. I said they're going to get theirs in this game. It's just a matter of, can we also beat them in the passing game too? Because if we can get both of those going, I think Tennessee wins. I still don't see a scenario at all where this is more than a 10-point game.
No.
But
unless the wheels fall off, we turn it over. I'm with you. I mean, this should come down to the wire.
Do we see Nico run the ball here? Adam brings this up.
He's got to.
I feel like
he has to. He has to, and he's getting better at it. He's getting a lot better at it. It's. I've talked about it for weeks, man.
Can we bring back the called runs though? Like, I feel like he's only running when he's got to make a play.
Oh gosh, I don't know, man. I mean,
against Iowa,
is
half
he a dual
our freaking offensive plays.
Is he a dual threat quarterback?
Yes, we've just not had anybody. No, you're wrong, Jake. He is. We've not had a quarterback behind him, dude. We have literally been protecting Nico more than anything this year because we know Gaston Moore is a great kid. I'm glad he's been here. I think he's helped our quarterback room tremendously. But, dude, if you had to go win a natty with Gaston Moore, come on now. I would trust him as a fan. I would believe in him just because I know the coaches do and I know the players do. But I just think that this year it's not been anything like we've seen against Iowa. Now maybe that was something they seen in the film room, but at the end of the day, dude, Nico can run, and I feel like I feel like they've been reserving him because they just know that. Look, we've had a couple scares with him this year already, right? With the concussion, he took a big blow. I think he lost his breath against Alabama, which kind of scared everybody. I think we've been protecting him a lot, but I think right now, dude, you're in the playoffs. You've got 8 months to recover if something does happen. You got to go for it, man. I think we got to bring back that running game.
And that's the thing and that's the one thing I can't get my finger on is it that we're not allowing him? Are we really trying to inhibit him from going out and kind of doing his own thing? Or is he truly a pocket passer? Are we seeing him as a pocket passer, and are we treating him as a pocket passer? Are we treating him like a guy who's just able to get it done? Josh Allen, he's not a dual threat quarterback, but my gosh, he can get it done with his feet. Now, it's just that's apple and orange, but you see what I'm saying.
This offense is just so different when you have a guy that can run, man. When you have, I mean, would
you rather have him or DJ Lagway? I mean, I agree with you, but
I'm just saying, like you've seen all the things that unlocked when Hendon Hooker had this thing going.
Yeah,
because he ran when he was a senior. It was his second year in the program, right? And he kind of knew when to make the right call. I think you're going to see that jump from Nico, especially next year.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see that jump, and then you're going to sit here and we're going to talk here, and we're going to be like, wow, he really is a dual threat quarterback. He's really good. I just hope that we can get that this postseason. That's just my only thing.
And I was going to say, to Jake's point, I feel like, his mentality is more that of a passing quarterback because even whenever he's scrambling, he's still looking to make a play downfield.
Well, right here, Adam says it. I mean, the way he throws the ball while he's on the move is just very impressive as a redshirt freshman.
Yep.
And we've seen that back in the orange and white games when he was a true freshman, when he hit Ethan Davis on the sideline when he scrambled out. I mean, it was just beautiful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, his arm talent, no doubt, is very talented. Which is why it's been so frustrating that we've seen so many overthrows this year.
Yeah, so I think his mentality is that of more of a pass, like a pocket passer type quarterback. But whenever he tucks the ball and he runs, his like running ability there and how he
looks like he's jogging, but he's so fast.
Yeah, I mean he's not afraid to take a hit. He's not afraid to give a hit either. That's what makes me say that he is a dual threat quarterback. Now, I do think that he's still improving on when do I need to run?
Yes.
And that's where I think you're coming in saying, he's a pocket passer. So, but I think his skill set is that of a dual threat quarterback. It's just the mindset that needs to get to that point.
I guess that's a good way to put it. And again, guys, don't take what I say as truth. I've never coached a quarter. Yeah, I know you don't. I know you don't. But to me, man, I mean, it's the best quarterbacks, regardless of pocket passer or dual threat, are guys who can extend plays. I mean, you're able to be an improv guy. I mean, Peyton Manning might not have been able to extend a play the way that you would think Hendon Hooker would, but Peyton uses his brain to be a dual threat quarterback. He's not just using, his ability to stand in the pocket and make a throw. So it's weird. It's just so interesting to me how do you dictate it? So like you said, I really want to see if he can come and make the decision of just snap, go, like I've been saying for weeks, man. I think if he can just set his feet and make that decision. Hendon did a great job of that when everything collapsed. He just would step up and be in the right spot every daggum time, man. It was awesome. If Nico can get better instead of just hesitating and galloping, just step up and go, he'll be fine. And that's where I think you're right. I think that could create him into a true threat rather than just worrying about the guy in passing.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? It's time to make picks.
Well, hey,
I think it's about that time.
But before we get picks, just real quick, score predictions. I'll
Mr.
go
comes
first.
in and says Nico in the postseason, counting Vandy as a play-in game. 8 tutties, 1 interception, 2 games. I don't know how that's the postseason, but yes, sure. We'll see, Mister.
He's just saying it's a play-in game for the postseason. Like if we,
but he's also counting the UTEP game. He's also counting the UTEP game though, because if it's 8 touchdowns,
I think he's counting the Iowa game last year, postseason games.
Okay, maybe, but that would be counting rushing. Okay, yeah, all right, I got you.
Hey, fellas, we can frame it however we want.
Sure. I mean, he just said Iowa. Okay, so either way, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I'll go first if y'all want me to, because I've been thinking about it for a few minutes. I think that Tennessee wins the game 20-17. You see a very low scoring defensive game.
I just don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, fair.
If Ohio State went 10 points and then 17 points back to back, I would love it. Don't get me wrong. I just can't see that offense, Ryan Day and that team going under 22 games in a row, man. That baffle. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. And I love our defense. I'm not doubting our defense. It's more of like it's like a pure feeling that I can't imagine Ohio State having 2 lackluster offensive games. Like, I do think they're going to get some points. I do. But, I mean, you are credited to your opinion. Jake, what do you think? Help me feel better about this.
You're going to love me because I'm going to make you feel better. I think this is going to be like the 2022 Bama-Tennessee game.
No, I hope it's not that.
No, it's not going to be that.
It's not that. I think my final score prediction truly is like 38-42.
38-42. Wow. That is a little bit higher than I was thinking.
Wow.
Look, Mr. comes in here and says Vols dominate Ohio State 38-13.
See, I would absolutely love this, but I don't see a scenario where it's just a blowout in either direction.
So I'm tired of being a nice guy. No, I think if there is a blowout, it is Tennessee over Ohio State. Tennessee is not going to get blown out because they just got too many pieces that's going to prevent that. I could see Ohio State getting blown out in this scenario. If we're saying Nico's coming on the way we think he should be,
don't see. Adam, don't ever say that again. I can't avoid that comment.
I don't know. You're way ahead of our. Hang on. What did he say?
Oh, no.
No. It's not going to be that. But that is his score prediction. He made it 2017, which is pretty close to that. No, I think realistically, I think Tennessee wins this one like 34-24, 34-27. But realistically, as a Tennessee fan, I don't know if we're going to win, man. On the road, at night, against Ohio State, realistically, as a fan, it's almost hard for me to predict a win. I'm predicting a win because I'm a fan. Like, don't get me wrong. But as a realist, if I were to take the orange glasses off, Ohio State could win this game, and it could be it's just one of those games where it's like a typical Josh Heupel once a year, twice a year type deal where the offense just can't do anything. And even though the defense is putting you positions to be able to do something, your offense just keeps letting you down, and then you lose an ugly game where it's like 17-13. Like, I could also see that. Like, 100% I could see that. I just hope that the latter is more likely in the former. Look, if Tennessee wins, I think it's a higher scoring game. If Ohio State wins, I think it's below 35-40 combined points. So I guess take the under if you want Ohio State to win. Take the over if you want the Vols to win. That's the only thing I could. I think that's just the way I feel, man. I don't know. Yeah, some of the comments: win in the trenches and we win the game. I think you go in the trenches, but the way our team plays on the road at night, literally half the time. It's just shaky, man. I just hope that we're on the better end of it. Anyways, I'm very intrigued by the matchup, though. I will say this. I have no idea. I feel like both of these teams kind of mirror each other. Yep. They are a little different in their own ways, but, who knows? I think it is time to make picks, though.
Yep. So, Skylar, you want to give us our Rakin with Jake sponsor?
Yes, sir. One second. It is Reed Bryant State Farm. Whether you're looking for auto, home, renters, or life insurance, Reed Bryant provides you with your personalized coverage options that fit your unique requirements. Their team is always available to answer any questions you may have and assist you in finding the perfect insurance solutions. At Reed Bryant State Farm, they understand the importance of safeguarding what matters most to you so you can focus on enjoying the game without worrying about the unexpected events. Reach out to their office by giving them a call at 865-457-1505. We appreciate you, Reed Bryant, for yet another month of support. And it's Rakin with Jake. We are making those picks. Whoa, what did that say?
I pulled up the wrong
somebody put up the wrong graphic. Are we making our picks before we do our Rakin with Jake segment? Because we gotta pick these first round games.
Yeah,
we gotta make our.
We can do that with Jake if you want to.
I mean, Jake can just pick along with us, but it won't count toward his overall.
You can count it. I'm all.
No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. No, we just went 5-0. We're not going to ruin that. Okay, we're not going to ruin that. We got Skeeter in the house. He said M-I-Z.
The zoo. I love it.
So,
I'll say Z-O if somebody follows it up. Z-O.
so I tell you what, Skylar, since we did the Rakin with Jake sponsor here, let's do his picks first.
All right. That's fine.
And then we'll do our game picks for segment 4.
I'll make it quick.
Yeah.
All right, make it quick. Let's run through them. All
right, so real quick, the graphic, as 2 weeks ago, Jake did the unthinkable and went 5-0.
That's crazy.
Winning. Just
that
winning.
Is crazy. That is so awesome.
The
Congratulations.
1 week I don't decide to parlay them together.
Had to do it. Championships,
Oh, whoa. We got some massive hating comments. Woodswater Mizzou said M-I-Z, and he said Z-E-D, the playoffs.
Love it.
No.
I love it.
Man,
Well,
that is
if it makes you feel any better, I really, really, out of these 5 picks, wanted to pick y'all for the bowl game so bad. And I only didn't out of principle because I had to throw more Tennessee picks in there.
Right on. Oh,
right,
man. That was a good one, mister. That was a good one, Jones. That's a good one, Jones.
Yep.
All right, let's go.
First one, Jake.
Man, going right into it, SMU at Penn State. This is a just absolute monstrosity of a line. I don't understand why you have it at -8.5. I think people just still think the ACC is better than what they are. Penn State's defense is going to absolutely dominate this game. I don't care what anybody says in terms of, you look at the points on the board, go up the schedule. I mean, I'm making myself look bad here, but if you look at what SMU has done every single game, is they put up 30, 40 points, 70 points on
their quarterback, I will say, I'm more confident in SMU's quarterback than many of the quarterbacks in this playoff.
Correct.
Now, SMU may not have the better team, and I 100% understand that. But I'm just saying, as far as a quarterback talent, I would almost put SMU's quarterback talent as like top 3 out of the 12 teams, in my opinion. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah. Wow.
But we'll see how Penn State. We'll see how Penn State handles that. I get it. SMU's defense is not good either. Like I understand SMU's not a good team. I'm just saying.
I haven't even seen, and truly, I haven't seen this quarterback as much as you're saying. I mean, I've seen him a little bit.
He's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I would say he's probably the number 1 dual threat in the playoff.
Wow. Okay. My thought is I guess Penn State, in my opinion, has one of the best defensive lines I have seen in a long time in the interior. I think they're going to eat at them all day. I think there's just kind of an overwhelming factor that comes into, like Adam said, going into Penn State.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
You see what happened with the Clemson SMU game.
Look at the Big Ten teams, by the way, with all the gimmicks. Right, we got Ohio State going scarlet pants. You got Penn State trying to come out with the all white. Tell me this wasn't coordinated. Dude.
Man, I love it. I love it.
It's fine. Yeah,
I
like
always stick on it. SEC and Big Ten are the only 2 conferences that matter at this point. I love the ACC.
I kind of hate that though. I think the Pac-12. I think the Pac-12 was honestly way better than some of these other conferences.
Retro Pac-12.
Yes.
My gosh,
dude. I'm telling you, man.
Ooh.
It is what it is. It is what it is, man.
We got to make these quick. All
right, go ahead. Next one.
Allure, great. Penn State -8.5. There's no question.
I like
I'll take this one up to 10. Indiana at Notre Dame. I didn't know this. Indiana is only averaging 125 rushing yards a game. That is terrible.
They just throw the ball all over the place.
I don't care. I don't know.
They don't play.
They don't play anybody.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
really, Notre Dame, I hate to say it, and everybody's going to hate me in this entire chat. Notre Dame's good. Notre Dame's a dark horse to win it.
Yes.
I mean, really.
I hate Notre Dame.
Garbage.
I hate Notre Dame. But I
That's not
completely
gonna
agree with you.
Marcus Freeman's playing the poker face right now. He's just sitting there. He just.
If we get clicks on YouTube because of this clipped up clip right here, I'm gonna thank you guys for getting a scene, but you're gonna make us look like idiots. I'm just saying.
You can make me look like an idiot. I don't have the orange on right now. There's a reason. But at the end of the day, man, I do think that if you look at what Notre Dame's doing, they've not lost a game in weeks. Indiana has made the majority of their points off of defensive turnovers. This is not going to be something that's sustainable. Notre Dame is a high-quality team. Look at their historic, record in Notre Dame when they're playing at home. They don't lose, man.
And they take care of the ball this year.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those games that I just think is going to be tough. I want Indiana to win so bad. That's true. The Big Ten.
I love Mr. Jones. I am so glad that you were in here. These comments, man, are just amazing. So
Yeah,
NIL.
Yeah, no, Northern Illinois. It confused me.
No, he's talking about the money, dude. Come on, let's be
That's
real.
true. Also, I mean, but at the end of the day,
NIU is what he meant. NIU.
Yeah, and it goes back to, man, these teams that are able to just run the ball, and NIU had a good time running the ball, and then they just got the game done. They converted on third down. It's what happens. Notre Dame is not in that caliber anymore. They got that off their back. They're ready to go. Oh, gosh.
Where's the donate button? Jake is on. Well, my Venmo is no. We got to get to 1,000. We got to get to 1,000 subs on YouTube. So the best way you can help us out, man, is just subscribe, share the show, get everybody in here. We would love to take y'all's donations, but even if y'all only donate during Jake's segment, he's not getting a piece. Like, I'm sorry, but he's already.
No, the best thing you can do is just make a bunch of burner accounts and then just hit subscribe on it. So
get on your wife's phone. She has no idea. Subscribe. She will not get email. It's completely free. Okay. She'll just get maybe like, if you want to be a real one, you click that bell and then she'll be like, why is this? Who is these guys that's going live every Sunday night? Like, and then maybe they like what they see. You know, I don't know.
They will like what they see.
Exactly.
They will like what they see.
Dang right. All right. Next one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to hate on the
Lock
ACC,
in.
man, but Clemson at Texas, man, to me,
not a bad matchup.
It's not. It's not
a bad matchup.
It goes
Battle of the
depth.
Oranges.
Absolutely.
Battle of the fake orange.
Well, Clemson has a little bit more of a royal orange than Texas does as of late.
It's like a brown for Texas.
Yeah,
it's like a brown orange.
They're a little burnt. Yeah,
a little burnt.
Now, Texas will 100% win this game. No question. Just no question on that. So
you just think they'll cover.
Oh yeah. This is one of those things where I can't count the points. I don't worry about over under. Klubnik's going to be able to do what he needs to do. He's going to keep him within the game. We've seen where Texas has had some turnover issues. I don't necessarily believe that's going to be an issue in this game. I just think this is going to be two very good coaches having enough time to game plan each other and keep it to where they squeeze the game out, just as Saban said every daggone week. So I think this is going to be a -6.5.
There's Justin. He's listening. He's a Texas Longhorn fan, and he says, "Boo, bro! You're still going to win, though."
Yeah, y'all are going to definitely
in your second round game. In your second round game's a cakewalk. Y'all got that 5 seed, dog. Come on. Gosh,
man. And so that's really my opinion on this one. Is just, again,
if Tennessee could hold their end of the bargain here, and I love this next one. I'm glad that I just brought it up. So Tennessee money line is the next pick, but if Tennessee can hold their end of the bargain, we're looking at what the football playoff committee would hate to see, and that is 3 of the final 4 being SEC with Texas, Tennessee, Georgia, and who would that other one be? Penn State or something? Or Notre Dame?
I'd have to pull the back.
I'd have to look at the bracket again, but I mean, there's a real possibility. If Tennessee can hold their end, because they'd have to go through Oregon, but you're looking at Texas, Tennessee, and then on the other side of the bracket, Georgia and whoever they would be playing. I think it could be Penn State.
It's either
or
Penn
Boise
State or Notre Dame. I can't remember.
They make it so hard to find it. It'd be Penn State, Boise, SMU is all on the same side.
Yep. So I would be intrigued by that.
Cakewalk to the semifinals.
Hey,
should
take, we'll talk about in the later segment.
All right.
Okay.
But let's recap these picks real quick. Tennessee money line.
Yeah. Last one we got. It
goes there is another one behind it.
Yeah.
My fault.
Hey, great.
Hey, I hit that. Me and Jake agree. And I said if we hit the over, Tennessee wins. And
I'm feeling it.
Did we coordinate this before you did this?
No,
because
not. They won't.
I literally said that. Like,
they're going to think that this is all, propaganda, but it is not. I love small little tiny scores. Just give me like a 3-7 game, man. I love those. That's what I live for. Yeah. This is not this one, man. I am telling you, it's not this one.
But it's weird because everything points it to be one.
It's not
like everything points that direction.
It does.
But I think for that reason alone, I think it's not going to be.
These guys are going to be on 3 hours of sleep in the entire week. They're going to be hallucinating. What they're going to have going on is they're going to envision just some of the most creative stuff we've seen. I think there's going to be just enough wrinkles to where everything goes out the window. It's a shoot fest.
But I feel like Ohio State's going to come out with more wrinkles than Tennessee. I think if you're going to say, like, if we're talking trick plays here, I almost feel like Tennessee doesn't do that anymore.
Tennessee conceptually plays their offense and they don't really deviate. what they will do is they'll work on formation schemes and motion schemes. Ohio State just straight up will stay in whatever they're doing and run a billion concepts. So it's like that's the difference in my opinion. I think Ohio State's more of a pro-ish offense, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
where you,
sure.
so I think that there's just a lot more to account for with Ohio State. So once you get into the game flow, I think after the script's done, we realize what fronts we're in, where we're getting these rushes, and then it's just kind of guess, and hope that you're getting one-on-ones. I think that this is going to be a masterclass, man. I really think that you're going to have guys in the box finding matchups, just like Mike Matthews. I mean, that's 100% I believe that the Mike Matthews thing against Vanderbilt was, hey, my gosh, they're giving us a loaded box. We got one high safety. I mean, let's go. We're basically in the red zone. So that's what I'm seeing, man. I'm excited. 5-0 again. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Let's do it, guys. Michael, to put it up on the screen, this is Rakin with Jake. We are talking about sports betting here, and it is illegal. It is legal in certain states, so make sure you understand that before you go to place any bets. But if you find yourself having any trouble, if you think you may be addicted to sports betting, if you realize that you can't put dinner on the table, but yet you had to put that bet on the game this weekend, you might need to reach out to a hotline number at 1-800-889-9789. Don't be ashamed. Some of us, obviously, you got to overcome that, and the first step in doing that is to call that number. We want to do this for fun, but it should never in any way impact your daily life, and especially if you have a family, it should never, ever, ever be a priority over taking care of your family. So if you guys have any troubles with that, guys and gals, be sure to reach out to that number. It is 1-800-GAMBLER, 889-9789. We appreciate you for that segment, and that is Rakin with Jake.
Yeah, let's make some picks, man.
Let's make some picks, man. It's about that time. Jake, do you want to stay on for that? Or
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So our pick segment sponsor, it is Kaizen Painting. Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautifully painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with a personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in Knoxville and surroundings, contact us for a free estimate at KaizenPainting.com. Color your life the Kaizen way. And let me see if we can do a little change here.
Let me set up a little bit.
Like that. Maybe,
I'm trying.
There we go.
Yeah, that might work. I'm trying to make it to where the graphic is not going to block Jake whenever we do this.
I mean, I'm fine with that. We can leave it like that. Maybe we could do it like this. Just make it a little bit. Got him! No, I'm joking. We bring it back. All
right. So this week we are picking the SEC games and also the college football playoff games.
Okay.
So this first one is Tulane going up against Florida. This is at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN2 on Friday. What say you guys?
Yeah, I think this is a no-brainer. Give me Florida all day long. They're playing hot as of late, and DJ Lagway's playing in this game. I haven't heard anything otherwise. Florida's a tough team right now. Somehow, some way, Billy Napier's got that team rocking and rolling. They believe, and I think Billy Napier coming back, they know who their guy is at the quarterback position. Florida's been playing very, very, I don't know, in a way in which
inspired ball.
It's inspired. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Inspired ball. But I'll say this: I'm glad we played him when we did, and I'm almost not even glad that we did that because we almost lost. But because if this team late in the season, I mean, we've seen what they did to Ole Miss, so I think Tulane should be a cakewalk for these Gators.
Yeah, I agree. There's not much to say. I think it's.
I did that on purpose, Justin. I did that on purpose. Yes, that's what we did. Yep. But Justin comes in and says Florida. Karen as well saying Florida. We appreciate you guys picking with us. Rhett Elwood says Florida.
Yeah, I'm also going Florida in this game. Tulane is a good team, but after the way they just got waxed by Army in the conference championship game, I think that Florida will win this game easy. So the next game, it is the first game of the college football playoffs. Indiana going up against Notre Dame. This is at 8 Eastern on ABC. This is also on Friday night. I'm a
known Notre Dame hater here, so give me Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You lose to NIU, you shouldn't even be considered a top 10 team in the nation. That's just my opinion.
Look, I also completely hate Notre Dame, but Notre Dame is going to win this game and win by as many as they choose. Indiana, They haven't played great competition this year other than Ohio State. You saw what happened in that game. The game was actually not as close as what the score ended up being. I think it was 31-15, if I'm not mistaken. Notre Dame is going to beat Indiana by as many as they choose.
Mister throws up a, what if Florida does lose that game to Tulane?
They can. It can
They
happen.
I mean, of course they can. Of course they can, but I'm just saying, like, the mindset right now for Florida feels like it's all good. What if they do end on that sour note, losing to Tulane? I don't know.
That's worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, and what's even worse is, like, you'd almost not want to make a bowl game, and if that was the outcome you would have, you go 6-6 and you beat Tulane, or you lose to Tulane. I would not like that look.
Yes, Adam. Absolutely. Invading that place.
Yeah.
Invading that place. Justin says Notre Dame. Karen says Indiana. Justin says, I don't like them, but give me Notre Dame.
Illinois is almost. Gosh, man, I just love
Rhett says I hate Notre Dame. I don't really hate Notre Dame. I said I hate her because I don't feel like I don't feel like they're a good team. I feel like they're overrated. That's just my opinion. Yes, they've looked good, and yes, they've won 11 in a row or whatever, but against who, bro? Like, let's just be honest here. Army, yeah, they were undefeated when they played each other, but is Army really a team that you're going to sit here and say is a top 15, top 20 team in the nation? I don't think so. I don't think so. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah. All right.
So.
Yeah, my opinion.
No, I know. I know.
Yeah.
SMU and Penn State.
Yep. Moving on to Saturday.
This is the opener for Saturday, 12 o'clock Eastern on TNT. This is a pretty intriguing matchup in which your best bet was to take Penn State minus the points. So I think I have a good idea on where you're headed with this pick.
Mm-hmm. Where are you heading, Skylar?
I'm headed Penn State.
Oh, what about you, Michael?
But I'm intrigued to see how they handle the quarterback situation. SMU's got a good quarterback. I'm not joking, man.
I believe you. I believe you. I'll watch
the tape. Yeah.
Look, I've got two.
Now, he might suck coming up this weekend and make me look bad, but I'm just saying he's solid.
I was going to say, I've got two different ways to look at this game because Penn State has the defense, and defense ultimately wins championships. But in this day and age, does the quarterback play not play a big factor in it? Because if that's the case, SMU should win this game.
It is a whiteout, I guess. I'm taking that from the listeners, but
wait, it is a whiteout.
They've said it multiple times, so I'm having to agree. I'm just taking it from the listeners that it's a whiteout. I've not heard or confirmed anything.
All right, ignore all that I was going to say about SMU. I was going to take SMU to win this game, but you said whiteout. So give me Penn State in this game.
Bro, come on. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
No, SMU is not going in and winning in a whiteout game.
In the club, we all fan.
So give me Penn State in this game. Now I will also say this. All right, James Franklin wins the games that he is favored in, and they're favored by 8.5. So I think that Penn State wins this game.
Sean Carpenter says, "Give me SMU just because Franklin can't seem to get over the hump of winning when it matters." That's a solid take.
That's
a solid take.
But
like solid take, especially as a big favorite. Come on.
But he wins the games that he's favored in.
He has me blocked on Twitter.
Behind it. So, does he really?
Yeah, he does.
What if Penn State and Ohio State and Indiana lose in the first round?
Give me all that.
That's when Big Ten commissioner and that boy on the CFP committee or whatever panic button pushed. That's when I can't see that. Your ring light's very distracting, brother.
Yeah, it's very blurry.
I don't even know what that says.
Now we just see your hand.
Just read it, dog. I can't.
Well, it just shows where you're making me doubt my Penn State pick now. I feel like I'm thinking of James Franklin just being soft. I mean, he blocked me years ago. I called him the Commodorks.
I'm not wrong on that one. Anyways, next one.
Yeah. Next game. It is the Orange Bowl. Clemson against Texas. This is at 4 Eastern on TNT.
Is this
if Texas doesn't win by 17 like we did against Clemson in our bowl game, I will be holding that against Texas. I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know. But in my right mind, I have to pick Texas here. I do feel like Texas is a better team. I don't even think Clemson should be in this thing. So I hope Texas does the deed here and gets them out of there.
Yeah, this is going to be Texas. I know that I picked the points for Clemson. I just think
especially rumored Arch Manning going to play a lot more.
Oh, no. Oh, man, that hurts me. Because that now, yeah, definitely Texas. Definitely Texas. I will tell you anything that you would want to put on that Clemson that Clemson spread. Go ahead and just put about double on the Texas money line.
For Clemson to cover, he does not want to see Arch Manning in the game.
No.
Yeah.
That variance hurts, but yeah.
Everybody is unanimously choosing the horns. Michael, are you gonna jump on board, brother? Be different here.
So
I need to make up some games.
Look,
Be different here.
Look, I completely agree with you that Clemson should not be here. But, I mean, winning the ACC title, that puts them in the game.
Bro,
Texas,
Adam says that Bill Belichick from North Carolina is going to steal Arch.
No.
No?
I heard
I can see
Nico's
it.
going to Auburn to compete for the
That is
spot with
not.
Jackson Arnold.
Probably. Anyways, go ahead.
But, give me
Clemson? All right, move on.
Give me
Here we go.
Clemson in this game.
Oh, yes! That a boy!
Whoa!
Look, I've been calling this game as the upset in the first round because if Tennessee wins,
Jackson, hey.
Look, I would not consider it an upset if Tennessee
You realize Justin has been on board and y'all have been like buddies this entire season. Like y'all have agreed on everything, and you're gonna stab him in the back like this. That's what we're doing here, Justin.
I mean, every once in a while we gotta part ways. So, but
he said don't do it, and you did it. Like he even asked you not to do it, and then you just went ahead, and then it was like you did it, and then you just kind of like twisted it in there. That's what you did. That's what. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I like it though. That man, I could see it. I guess maybe, but it shouldn't. It should not happen. I think Texas should win this.
Look, if there's an upset in the first round, it's going to be this game.
I disagree. If there's an upset that's going to happen, it's SMU over.
Gosh. Well, the biggest upset is got a first round bye, but that's another point.
That's fair. Next one.
All right.
Roll it up.
Last one is the one that we all care about. It is Tennessee. It is Ohio State. 8 Eastern on ABC. College game day in town.
They're right there. Go Clemson. Guys, come on. Don't overthink
the
it.
Vols.
Don't overthink it. They're getting
I'm glad
better.
you said it confidently.
Nico, every
BBS is like in my head right now, dude. I'm like,
look, my voice right now is not saying exactly how I'm feeling because I am nervous about this game. But we're a Tennessee podcast, man. Give me the Vols.
I don't care. I'm trying to show the people that I'm not biased. I'm like a real Tennessee fan, but like a true football, like, I don't know.
It's not possible.
True fans know what I'm talking about, though. Like, they know. Like, this is the most.
Absolutely.
Gosh. Kyle McCord gets sacked 9 times.
It's not Kyle McCord, by the way.
It's Will Howard. Kyle McCord plays for
same
Syracuse.
difference.
Who did beat Miami, by the way.
I was going to say, Kyle McCord might be better than Will Howard, actually.
I wouldn't, Vols about 6 here. You know what? I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to hope that Nico has a good day. I'm going to hope that Dylan Sampson has a better day. And I'm going to hope our defense does what they've been doing all year. Give me Vols, but I don't know how much. But if they're going to win, I do think the defense is going to give up some plays. So,
look, the Vols by
give me
at
the
least
Vols.
one. The Vols by at least one. That means
but I can tell you,
so.
no. But I can tell you this: if it's the end of the first quarter and it's 0-0, your boys' knees are shaking in the stadium. Like I am scared. I'm scared.
Good. I'm feeling good.
No, if it's slow start for Tennessee, I'm not liking it. I need to see the boys like. It's not going to be stress-free. It's Tennessee football, for God's sakes. But Jesus, I mean, like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Guys, we have to remember, it's on the road at night. It is a true 50-50 shot if we're going to show up or not. Like,
that's fair.
It is.
Hey, side note. I don't know why I'm giving Elon all this credit, but here's the deal. I put in a confidence percentage in what's it called, Grok. They keep talking about Grok or Gronk or whatever. 45%, which to me is a favorable thing considering how little AI really knows about football. I mean, they're taking it from just the data they're getting put in, man. I like it. I really think that there's more to be said with the schematics of this game than people realize. We have a Michigan guy who is at DC. I think that psyche in itself, going back to my pick, is why the Vols are going to win this one.
So the real question, do we come out in the new Tennessee alternates, which is the Michigan uniform, or do we wear our stormtroopers in the game? So.
Mister, I know the joke you're trying to make, but like because it's just a blackout uniform with the Michigan like look helmet. I get it. Mr. Jones says this: we don't hope, we put our foot on their throats. Now, typically, I'd say yes, but do we? Oklahoma, did we really put our foot on their throats?
I wish you wouldn't have brought that game back up, but I mean,
I'm serious. Like I know we say we have that mentality, but do we? Like that's what. I don't know. This
is a chokeout. This is either a chokeout or this is just two big teams throwing haymakers. There's no way around it. I mean, I say this every week, but truly, I think, in my opinion, man, I don't see any way around it. I think that you have too much time to prepare for both guys. Jade, you are doing the Lord's work.
Absolutely.
And so
it's crazy that like she did it on her husband's phone too. That's I applaud that.
That is complete, opposite of what it normally is. So
yep, that's exactly right. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Tennessee football has been a stressful all year. I get that. That's exactly what I'm kind of getting at. Rhett says OSU AD.
I hate to say it. I know Rhett personally, and now I think I have to publicly disown the guy. So
I'm still picking the Vols here. Like I just want that to be known. I think it's going to be a good game. Hopefully.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I agree with
and
you.
I will hope because I'm a fan. And anyways, we look forward, not back. He said we look forward, not back. Good response. That's a good one.
There we go.
All right.
Guys, we appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Jake, we appreciate you joining us today. And, we might talk a little bit about having you on like during the off season, just doing some different.
I think we're giving Jake too much credit here. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here.
This head will blow up. It's big enough.
You see that thing? Like it's
growing as we speak, and that dent is getting a whole lot worse.
All right. So we are. I'm gonna say we're ending up the show here, right? Like we're done, because I hate to do this, but I think I'd be doing a lot of our listeners and a lot of the University of Tennessee athletics a lot of discredit if we don't at least bring up the fact that the Lady Vols hit 33 pointers in a basketball game Saturday night in Thompson Bowling Arena.
And look, they didn't just break the SEC record;
they
shattered it.
They broke the record. They broke the look, and it's not even like they jacked up a crap. I think they shot 62, made 30 of them. They dang near shot 50% at the 3-point line, and scored basically. I mean, they did score 90 points just on 3-pointers.
It's good to know where all the points went for the men's team as well.
They scored 139 points in the basketball game, guys. I don't care who the opponent is. To score 139, you still have to shoot the ball, and they did it. It is so fun to watch this team. In Kim Caldwell's first year, they're still undefeated. I believe they're 8-0 now. And if I can flip the script here, the boys won on a buzzer beater. Just 10-0. The basketball teams are exciting to watch. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. So real quick, the stats in this game. 30 of 63 from the 3-point line. That's 47.6%. They forced 44 turnovers in the game, scoring 73 points off of those turnovers.
Oh my gosh.
Their largest lead in the game was 84 points.
They near balls by 100? Is that what I mean?
And then you got Karen just coming in here and just dropping just truth bombs. I mean, it's a great day to be a Tennessee Vol. I mean, it's a great year. It's a great decade. I'm so excited for this administration. I think everybody, you can see the optimism in the chat. I think that's what gets me most excited is everybody's kind of on the board. They can kind of feel it. We're going to be hard. We're going to be critical of everybody. But at the end of the day, man, we're winning games. We're winning games.
Mr. Jones brings up no Painey, no Gainey. And he brings that up because Jordan Gainey had an absolute baller of a second half, and a half of which you had your two top players get fouled out.
That's the optimistic part about this team is your two top players on the team fouled out. Didn't play. Ziegler didn't play the final 2 minutes. Lanier didn't play the final 5 minutes due to being fouled out, and you still found a way to win the game.
Nice one. We appreciate you tuning in, man. He says Nico doesn't overthrow against out of conference teams.
Oh, okay. It's confirmed. Tennessee by 50. So
That's a great framework I hadn't thought about.
Let me say this though. If there is a blowout, the only way it is Tennessee, right? I mean, Tennessee doesn't get blown out. If they were to get blown out, it'd have been Georgia.
I think
and they
you
didn't
could see it. My issue is the attrition.
I can't see Ohio State's offense being explosive enough against our defense for it to be a blowout. There's
can.
no shot.
They shouldn't. They won't, but they can. You know what I mean? Like, they've just got so much firepower at that wide receiver spot. I mean, a tremendous amount of firepower at that wide receiver spot. That's, in my opinion, what makes our offense go in some ways is we got the same kind of deal. But there's a level up when these guys, the two receivers that are three receivers, they got Tate, Ibuga, and whatever. My gosh, four is a dog. I hate to say it. That's going to be the most fun thing to watch. I'll probably won't really be watching the game. I'll just be watching Gerard McCoy follow four around all over the place because I think that's what they'll do.
Look, everybody down here talks about Ryan Williams, but Jeremiah Smith is better.
Oh yeah. Jeremiah is the ability that he has.
Y'all need to stay. Yeah, we need to wrap up the show. I feel like y'all are about to go down a rabbit hole. We're gonna get clicked up again, and it's not gonna be pretty. And come on, boy, put some respect on the 17-year-old. Did you know that he was 17? By the way, I didn't know if y'all have a good day. All right, go Big Art. What?
No, but guys, appreciate you all tuning in tonight. Can't wait for this weekend. And guys, as always, go Big Orange.
Go Vol.